How's she going, my son? And welcome back to Magicmaker. It's been a while since I played this game for the channel, and just in general, because Undertale has kind of consumed my life. I'm not afraid to admit that. The game does that. It's an absolute friggin' masterpiece, and it kind of deserves that. So, I gotta remember what we were doing in this game. I have to remember how to Magicmaker, so this might take a bit, and I have to remember how to put my timer on, which shouldn't take all that much time at all. Stop, watch, bam. Okay. So, I remember we were getting our 6 slots on the Mummer Mage. Yeah, but we're missing the one for the robe, which is kind of important, because the robe's kind of a big linchpin of this whole invulnerable pyromancer build that Woa Constrictor ended up giving me when I was asking for spells back in the day. Ah. Damn near killed myself. Right, I gotta remember, I gotta teleport to move. Pretty sure it's here for the robe. Because this is the place where you have the mission where you need the robe with miniature sun in like one of the last missions. So I'm assuming this is the area, because like this is the area that Taylor cares about, so, you know, it makes sense. Alright, so we'll just teleport around, being invulnerable. Don't even really care about the magic crystals, or the anti-magic crystals, because I don't even use my mana bar. I just have infinite resource, because I'm ridiculous and I broke the game. Or, Woa Constrictor broke the game and let me copy him, I should say. It's kind of easy to break the game when you've made it, but, you know. So, I want to talk a little bit today about how, since I'm playing kind of, like, brainless mode here where it's not all that hard, I want to talk a little bit today about how it's amazing that a game like Undertale exists, but I don't think every game needs to be something like Undertale. Mostly because that was, like... Well, one thing, that was a work of art. I'm just going to call it like I see it. That was a work of art, and that was, like, insanely hard. I imagine that was insanely hard to make, too. Because I was just talking about it with a buddy, and just trying to keep all the, like, crossing narrative straight with that. I'm not going to spoil anything, and I don't even know if I know everything, so I don't even know if I can spoil everything anyway. But, damn it. But yeah, just trying to keep it all straight, thinking, you know, I think Toby Fox is something like The Question, where, you know, his office is always covered in corkboard with all these interleaning plot threads all connected by different marker strings and push pins and stuff. You know, it's like just a little on the insane side. Like, it's not something I could do, personally, I don't think. Although it did take 3 years for that game to be made, so in 3 years of constant effort, maybe. But would I be able to, like, I'm just thinking to myself, would I be able to put that much effort into something? No, like I've said before, this YouTube channel is one of the longest effort things I've ever put in. This is one of the longest running projects I have ever done in my life, ever, where I've constantly put effort into it. Because, I mean, I've had projects running for a long time, but I keep, like, dropping them. They keep, like, dropping off my radar, basically. So, yeah, like, so, you know, they keep dropping off my radar. But this YouTube channel, I've been trying to keep it as consistent as I can. You know, barring act of God and/or failure of internet, right? Like, I'm doing my damnedest to keep this going as much as I can, even though it's 25 subscribers. Thank you guys, by the way. I felt like I haven't mentioned my subscriber count enough recently because it has been going up, and I am very appreciative for that. Yeah, he wants the crystal from. She wants the crystal. That's fine. But yeah, like I feel like I haven't mentioned that enough. So thank you. Thank you, 25 subscribers. So there's at least 20 people now who aren't personally aware of who I am, who do like my content. So, you know, that's a nice ego boost. There's a... There. Is that all of them? Investigate the room. No, I need to find the ancient crystal, which would be this one? Yes. Okay. Okay. Investigate the rumbling. The crawling ritual. Bleh. Be lit on fire. Did I have a better spell for killing bosses? I don't think I did. I don't even know what this one does. Oh, it's the poison spell, right? Yes, I was screwing around with the idea of having a poison build-up spell because this is kind of like a really good build for dots, but I think fire is better for it though. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. I'm all over the place. I have to admit, I'm a little frazzled. Because if you should watch my Undertale videos, yeah, you'll understand completely why I'm like just all over the place right now. And train of thought derailed in the station. There were no survivors. Okay, here we go. Upgraded robes. Ugh. But yeah, okay. I was talking about how Undertale is an amazing game, and that kind of quality people should strive for, particularly AAAs. But do they need to be like Undertale? No. That's a firm no, by the way. Because I think, well, for one thing, Undertale would lose its specialness if there was a whole bunch of games that were like it, first and foremost. Part of the reason it's so good is it's so fairly unique. But some of the ideas it had, and just like the effort and care in the game should be used in the process of making other games in the future. Could they be a little less emotionally taxing, though? I haven't even done the genocide playthrough yet, which I might do on the channel. Which I might do, so, you know, look forward to that, I guess. But, not quite sure what I need, because I'm invulnerable. I'm invulnerable. Don't need jumps, because I don't move like that. I just teleport everywhere. Yeah, double cast, sure. When in doubt, add illusion dust. Robes or spells, it tends to work. But yeah, like, I think more games should have the kind of level of, like, creator investment that Undertale has, but not the... doesn't have to be the same, doesn't have to be the same kind of game. No, I'm actually going to do something a little different here. Can I just save these for later? Since I'm going to reuse these. But what I'm going to do, in the meantime, is I'm going to beat that speed level where I have to... going to beat that level where, the race, where it's literally just a flat line and you have to get it in less than a second. So the dustpan of haste, when you next take damage, double movement speed. Gonna put nothing but gears on the robe, although I might need to make a couple. Yeah, I need to make a couple of A's because I only have 3 A's and I want this to be as fast as possible. So, blue duck and water. Blue duck and water. Whoa. Blue duck and water. Blue duck. Water. Doot, doot, doot. Bam. Okay. That should be enough to fill my slots. Whoa. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Something, something. I'm a witch. Nailed it. Oh, God. My sideways movement is so fast, but I have no jumps, so it's really weird. It's like I barely move anywhere when I jump, but when I move left to right, it's like... Like, Undertale, I think, is a really good example of what a really story-heavy game should be like. Does it have to have the meta-narrative? No. In fact, I would kind of like it if Undertale didn't have the meta-narrative, but it probably wouldn't work as well, I'll admit. Just a bit of personal wishful thinking. Okay, so it needs to do at least 1 damage to me, so, like, that's fine. And then it's just going to be a snot ton of haste. Because if I'm correct about this, the dustpan stacks on top of everything else. At least I hope it does. So I'm hoping that I can literally move... gotta go fast, really fast. Blue duck and mint. Oh, crap. I shouldn't have used all the blue ducks I had on the Quicksilver gears. Oh, God. Blue duck and mint. Blue duck and mint. Hope that's enough. Whoa. Because it's like, look. It's like, little jump, little slow jump, All of a sudden, take a little slow jump. It's like, what the heck? Who moves like this? Okay. I might not be able to get A's on all of them, but I think this might be enough anyway. Hell, I might even put a Philosopher's Stone in a slot if I've got room. Which I do. Haste 460. Haste 1,210%. Cost 26 health to cast, but that's fine. Because I want it to hit me. Did anyone catch the license plate of that truck that just whizzed by? Seriously, what the hell? I think this'll work. I think this'll work. Alright, let's see if we get this to work. Racetrack, the Cheeto 1K. Go. Holy cow! Did you see? Well, for one thing, I got an achievement. I don't think you'll see that in recording, but yay. Achievement unlocked instant. The screen couldn't keep up with me. And it was like it wasn't loading in fast enough. Oh my god. See, this is a really good example of this is a really good example of another really good kind of game where it's just pure customization and you get to do fun stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be like complete it doesn't have to be complete like what do you call it? It doesn't have to be complete like player gimme, right? Like I often bash on Bethesda games a little bit for this. Just this one. Because Bethesda games just like to empower the player, like, to the point of, like, kind of brainlessness. Because it's like, you know, you're the chosen one, you're the Dovahkiin, you're the lone wanderer, yada yada yada. Oh look, you're so friggin' awesome. Whereas, like, I prefer a situation where it's more like Dark Souls, where you can be awesome, but there's a reason to be awesome. There's like, there's challenge still. I mean, Dark Souls might not be the best example because it's, you know, it's a game where the game always is kind of just slapping you in the dick anyway. Pardon my French, but simply because you know, that's kind of the point. It's attempting to be old school, and apparently that means you are stupidly difficult. Right, you bird, you dick. No, that won't work. I was thinking of doing the castle, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, I need the freaking. Let's take this with me just because it's never gonna go off, just for laughs. Oh my, that is an evil-looking artifact. But yeah, like, I think a lot of games, or a lot of companies, I should say, because this is actually something indies are pretty good at not doing, is a lot of companies try to ape something that's already happened before. Because it's a proven method of success. I mean, it does work. Sequels do sell. Games do sell. Series do sell. Like franchises. They kind of market it more on the franchise than anything else, which is fine. Because I mean, who doesn't like another copy? Who doesn't like, you know, several of the Final Fantasy games, or who doesn't like several of the Fallout games? I love me some Fallout. Even if I like to kind of shit on Bethesda for Fallout 3, but I love New Vegas, right? But it's still the same series, right? But, you know, whereas, if you're just making a singular game, you have to kind of make it on its own merits a lot more. And, you know, I feel like that's I don't want to say pure, but I mean, that is kind of the best way to put it. Like, it's almost a purer way of making a game versus, okay, like, we have a bunch of restrictions in play because we have to make it this franchise, and we have to make it based on what people already like, so our room for innovation is very little. Whereas, like, but, like, just going back to Undertale, you know, Toby Fox, he made it as a bit of a love letter to Earthbound, or at least it feels like a love letter to Earthbound. I don't know if that was intent, but, I mean, it probably had to be. I mean, just look at it. It had to be an intentional love letter to Earthbound. But, he went in like a very different direction with it in the long run. But it still felt like an Earthbound tribute sort of thing, but it wasn't just like aping Earthbound. It was doing something really different with an Earthbound vibe, right? Like, I think that's more important, is to get a good vibe going versus, come on, get There we go. Like, it's more important to get a good vibe going versus just aping something that has succeeded, because it will succeed too. Because unfortunately, the free market kind of does dictate that does work, which is why big company games, or even just games and sequels, like even indies can fall victim to this if they just, keep releasing the same kind of game over and over again, because it does sell, because people want more. People want more, right? So, or even just like constantly releasing DLC for the same game and not really working on a future project of something new, or becoming like, or even like, for example, I'm trying to think of the name of the company, Vlambeer. They are really good at making action games. They don't really experiment all that much, but they do different styles of action games. But like, you can kind of like, I've been looking at some of their stuff, barring Gun Gods, which is full on a first-person shooter. Very old school though, mind you. Like, think more Doom than Call of Duty, basically. Like, aside from that, like, I'm looking at most of their games. Admittedly, I haven't played all of them, so I'm not speaking completely from a place of expertise. But it feels like they're kind of making the same-ish game every time, but like they put a spin on it, which, I mean, give them points for trying, right? And I feel like Nuclear Throne is definitely like the most different version of the Vlambeer action game, air quotes, right? And like another bigger company that kind of does the same game every time I was gonna say Dark Souls, but From Software, because they make Dark Souls. It's a damn good game, and I love every installment of it that I've played. I probably wouldn't like Bloodborne though. I've looked at it and I'm like, this feels like it's trying to be a Souls game and not be a Souls game at the same time, so it doesn't really know what it is, sort of thing. And I'm also not the biggest fan of like just some of the mechanics in that, but that's beyond. But that's a different argument for another day. If I ever do a Dark Souls video, which I would like to do, but I don't have my controller. It's like I've mentioned before with some of my stuff. It's in storage containers in Newfoundland, and I'm in New Brunswick, so that doesn't help. I mean, I could buy another one, but I don't know. Would be a bit of a waste. Or I could learn to play on a keyboard, but that would be excruciating. So I'm not going to bother. But yeah, like, people kind of fall into a rut. Like, this is true even outside of video games. People fall into a rut. Like, hell, I fell into a rut of making Magicmaker videos on this channel. Again, because this is what people wanted. But then I wanted to play something else, so I played Undertale, and it kind of feels like Undertale is what people want, because it gave me a bunch of, it gave me a bunch of subscribers, and it's gone in consistent views. Like, one of my most viewed videos is, like, the 10th episode of Undertale, where I fight the spider boss, Muffet, as in of Little Miss Muffet sort of thing, where, I had a cool thumbnail that was a piece of fan art that I did give credit to, by the way, so I'm not a complete shill. But that video has like 30 views, and one of my only other biggest videos that went that high, other than some of my really old stuff that has like several hundred views for some stupid reason, I guess just because of length of time passing, and some of it might be like spam bots or something, is the Zanuka Hunter glitch video, the Warframe one I did, where I actually linked it on the forums, for the bug forums of Warframe, because I'm like, yeah, is the Zanuka Hunter supposed to do this? Because this looks really glitchy. And they're like, yeah, it is very glitchy. But like 50 some odd people watched that, right? So I'm like, okay, people like Warframe. Or was it because of the link from the forums? Like, it's like variables, ifs and buts. God, it feels like this video has gone longer than the 18 minutes my timer is saying. It's, I guess because I'm used to playing Undertale, where it's like huge revealing plot moments and crazy brain-shattering events. Oh shit, it's 30 minutes already. Whereas this game is like something I know, I can shoot the breeze a little more, but now it's only 18 minutes because I'm like, oh, well, I've kind of, me playing this game is kind of really easy now. Especially since I'm playing what is developer god mode at the moment. I might switch to something else, but probably not. It would take too long to switch to something else in the length of this episode, so screw it. Maybe next episode. But yeah, like, I think more games should have the level of commitment of Undertale, and particularly the fact that it's something new, or trying to be something new. Where, like, although for the record, I have nothing against franchises. I love me a good franchise game as much as the next man, especially when it's a franchise I really like, and they treat it properly. But they, I'm wiggling my finger, but they don't just kind of spin in circles. Because I mean, to me, it's like, well, why buy this later version of it if it doesn't do anything that the previous versions have already done? You know, that's what I've heard a lot of people talk about Call of Duty, because like Black Ops 2 is like the biggest one in the series, and that's the one a lot of people like to play. But they kept releasing new ones, but they didn't really do anything new with them. So everyone's just kind of like, well, why bother? Why don't I just keep playing Blops in multiplayer, right? And I mean, that makes sense. If you've already got the formula hand down pat, why keep tinkering with it in a way that doesn't work, or a way that seems very appropriate that the snowball enemies can be very easily killed by fire, by the way. Place the crystal. Whoops. Place the crystal. Okay. Run around waking up all the dudes so they're on fire. I might as well grab some stuff around here. Might be something useful. Although I doubt it. I don't know. It's hard to, like... I don't want to make a blanket statement about should games be Undertale, should games not be Undertale, because it's not accurate enough. I'm also just trying to avoid blanket statements in my life in general, and I'm aware of the irony of that being a blanket statement, because they're not accurate. It's also kind of like an intelligence trap, if you will, or like a laziness trap, because making a blanket statement is so much easier than trying to explain yourself completely, especially when one has a limited forum to do so. Like, it's also a trap of making your opinion fact. Like, I watched a Game Grumps episode today. I like to watch it sometimes. Particularly on the Mario Maker series they're doing recently, where Ross is absolutely torturing the poor boys. Although Aaron did some of his videos, or some of his levels today. And although he also showed off a type of level that he isn't a fan of called an auto level, where you don't actually play the level, it just kind of pushes Mario around and does neat stuff. And I'm just like, okay, and I'm looking at these, and these levels look really cool. And I mean, the really good ones anyway. Ross had like a gag one he did where it was like, it lasted like all of 10 seconds and didn't really do anything cool. But I mean, you get some of them that look like the like Incredible Machine things where it's like the guy, this machine goes through like several thousand steps to make a guy a piece of toast. But like, it's like all these little whirling, I know there's an official name for that, I just don't remember it off the top of my head. But, one of those devices. But it's like made out of Mario level parts. Like people would do these with ROM hacks back in the day. Now they can just do it officially with Mario Maker. And even having access to even more stuff, because Mario Maker has things that aren't actually in the Mario games. Like the little wings you can attach to enemies to make them fly even though they don't, and stuff like that. Or to alter their speed and all that. Or you can make the really big enemies out of like anything, instead of just the stuff they've made big enemies of before. Stuff like that. So, yeah, what was I getting on that? What was I going on about? I was going on about... Right, okay. But, like, it's such an intelligence trap to have an opinion, but then state it as a fact. For example, Aaron said, these levels are stupid. Now, I know... I have to... I don't know, but I have to assume some of what he does on the show is an act. He's an entertainer. He is something of an actor. I mean, hell, he was on Rick and Morty, apparently, recently. He did a bit part. So, congratulations to him. That's actually really cool. As much as we really shouldn't care as in the internet culture about like old media being part of it, because it's like that's kind of a mindset they've put into us about, like this is the business, right? Like this is show business, baby. Like this is, whoa, what the heck happened to that hand? But when in fact I like watch very little of actual television anymore and give like zero shits about actual television anymore, or movies and anything like that, because, well, for a lot of things I'm seeing they're doing what AAA gaming is kind of doing a bit, and kind of doing hovering patterns over the same concepts over and over again to just keep generating money. Which, I mean, when you're doing a business that costs that much money, in particular, they're also falling victim of the sin of just throwing more money at problems and hoping it goes away, or hoping they make something from nothing, basically, or something from just money. Although, as we've talked about in this, money is effectively nothing, so you take that thought with a grain of salt. The idea that money can solve all problems, and just throw more money at the problem and it'll go away. Or magic will happen if you throw more money at things. It's a problem AAA games are doing. It's a problem with the business. But like internet fame is different like that. Is different, and it doesn't need that much stuff. I mean, it can help. I'd love to have a better microphone, a webcam, better computer, just in general. But like that's a budget of like several $1,000s maybe. Whereas like to make a AAA blockbuster, they too many zeros to count. But yeah, anyway, Aaron made the comment of these levels are stupid. It's an intelligence trap because he's stating it as a fact. He should have said, I think these levels are stupid. Meaning it puts the onus on him instead of the level. Because, I mean, Danny in that very same episode loved them because they look cool, and I agree with him, right? And I'm saying this even if it wasn't Aaron, because I kind of don't agree with that man sometimes, because he does a lot of that intelligence trap kind of thing, where he kind of blanket statements a lot. It's a gut reaction. Like I've said, I'm trying to catch myself out on these things, but it's kind of human instinct. It's kind of hard to not generalize and blanket statement things, because that's kind of what the brain does to simplify things, so that we don't, we all don't go cross-eyed and have brain aneurysms trying to figure out everything. But it's kind of the thing. You kind of need to have a headache every now and again to really understand things. And it kind of brings me back to Undertale, because that game gives you one hell of a headache. And I wouldn't want every video game to give me a headache. Some games I want to be the adorable papercraft wizard, where I do nothing but have awesome overpowered spells all the time. Or, like I do with Play Warframe, where I just shoot random space people as a space ninja. Possibly a space ninja pirate, Hydroid. He's also a pirate. I think it's funny. But like the level of dedication could still be there. I don't know. This has been an episode of me rambling and doing random stuff in Magicmaker. I have to admit, I'm doing this a bit to stall for time a little bit, because I'm going to do a genocide run in Undertale. I really don't want to, but I kind of came to a conclusion when I was talking to a buddy about it the other day. The guy who got me the game, by the way. Thanks once again. But also, damn you for giving me this amazing game that actually makes it hard to do the other playthrough. I say this facetiously, of course, because I asked him to do a genocide playthrough with me. I asked him to record it, and he said no. I'm like, all right, that's fine. You don't have to do it. You don't have to record it because you're not a YouTuber, and you're a bit camera shy. Something he's admitted to me. But I thought about it, and I'm like, that's not him though. Someone who would do a genocide run, because I talked about it to him. We had a little powwow back and forth, and I admitted that I'm the kind of gamer that will do despicable things in video games where I'm given the option to get some kind of advantage. And I'm actually annoyed if the game has options to do despicable things, but arbitrarily cuts despicable things out because of moral censors. Excuse me. Biggest example of this? Any Bethesda game with children in it. Would I kill these children? Probably not, because in my mind, they're not worth a lot of experience. They likely don't have any good items on them, and it would likely piss off everybody in the town, so it would be way too much heat for me to deal with. However, the fact that they're made invulnerable pisses me off, because it screws with the flow of the game, where I can technically murder and acquire something of value from every other entity in the game. Barring essential NPCs, but that's also another thing I don't like, but that's just kind of Bethesda being lazy. Because they don't want to have to deal with broken quest lines, because their games are broken enough as it is, but that's another day. Yeah, so like I don't want to harp too much on it, but so I was really torn up about doing the genocide run in Undertale, but I'm like, it has another ending. It has more story. It's another way to play the game. I should do it. I should own up to the fact that I'm this kind of gamer and just do it, right? Still gonna suck though. Because I mean, if you've seen the ending I did get, where I didn't hurt anybody ever, barring the one instance where you have to, that ending is heartwarming. I was literally giggling and smiling like a freaking child at the end game sequence of that game, because it was just so damn storybook perfect when you finally went through all the shit you went through in the pacifist run through to get there. And I'm gonna throw that all away so I can murder everybody. It's a bitter pill. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but I'm going to swallow it because otherwise it's occupying my thoughts constantly, and I can't do anything else. So it really bothers me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening to my complete rambling in this episode. I'm sure I've left a couple of train of thoughts on the side of the tracks completely shattered. Flaming wreckage everywhere. Twitter is in the description as usual. The subscription will be the Dorwell Community College sign as usual for Magicmaker. I hope this video wasn't too boring for people who actually wanted more Magicmaker content, because I kind of just flew through the levels and blabbed. But I mean, it's still cool to see the invulnerable Pyromancer in action, and it's fun to play too, even if it does completely take the challenge out of the game because, well, you can't die. There's no way to die unless you literally kill yourself. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll do some Undertale theme builds or something in the future to, like, kind of divvy up the genocide run a little bit so I don't completely render myself a complete ball of tears. Or a complete raving lunatic, whatever happens first. But anyway, with that in mind, I'll catch you another time. Ciao.